Craig, good morning.
Good morning. How's the road show going?
It's going great. We're in beautiful Falmouth on the Cape. Couldn't be a better day, and it could not be a better time for you to speak with us this week. We are, oftentimes can be critical when things aren't going well, but
great, Ken.
Curtis never says a mean word ever.
Go Sox.
But I mean, listen, coming off a sweep here and a couple games over 500, so we got to give you your due props on that so far and this team.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I guess first things first, let's get to the most important question, which is that I still don't have two more bands to round out my time. But beyond that, the guys are playing really, really well. I think credit to them, to the young guys that are kind of stepping in and contributing. I think this last series in Tampa was illustrative of the contributions that can be made on both sides of the ball, at the top and bottom of the lineup. From the pitching group, defensively, it was really fun to watch.
50 games in, Alex Cora, Manager of the Year, American League.
It's what he's been doing so far is really impressive. The injuries that the group has had to overcome, shuffling pieces. It's a big puzzle, and he is handling it masterfully. I think the versatility and flexibility that guys like Don give him, being able to play Jaron in center or left, moving Abreu back and forth between both corners, having Tyler in left and right at times. And then, over the last week or week and a half or so, we've seen David Hamilton really come on and contribute. And I think that adds another layer of flexibility to Alex's toolkit.
And when we were down in Springfield at the winter weekend and then with you in Fort Myers, it was made clear to us that the future of Cora was in your hands, that you guys were getting to know each other. How would you describe the status of your relationship now, and are you any closer to making it a longer-term relationship?
I think our interactions have been really, really positive. Obviously, you're getting kind of one side from me, but I've really enjoyed working with him. We have really productive and meaningful conversations about the game, about strategy, about transactions. But thus far, outside of trying to overcome these injuries, I think things have been smooth in terms of getting the best outcomes out of our pitching group. Guys like Jaron and Rafi and Connor Wong swinging the bat really, really well. Defensive progress. I don't doubt that at some point we're going to have, kind of emotional conversations. That's natural. That's good. That's productive. And I think we need to see how those go.
Craig, I know you talked about, this in the past with us not wanting to maybe mortgage the future with some of the young guys, but you talk about the young guys performing at a very high level, and your rotation looks great and everything's looking really good. I know it's a couple months away, the trade deadline, but are you looking more like you're going to be biased because of such the good young talent that you have to mix that with maybe some veterans that you might be able to get and make a push for a playoff spot?
I think it's still really early. The importance, the value of winning seasons, of competing through September and into the playoffs is not lost on me by any means. But at the same time, I have to make what I believe to be the best decisions for the organization, and that's always what I'm going to anchor myself to. And it's at times difficult to balance the short and long-term views. But I think one thing we do have here is a strong and deep farm system. And so, kind of when it comes time to move in on competing in the present, I think we're well positioned to do that.
Craig, Rafael Devers had a streak of 6 straight games with a home run. Alex Cora, though, mentioned how he wants Rafi to be more consistent when it comes to his hitting. How important is it for this lineup to have long-term success that Devers gets more consistent at the plate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a huge surprise to say that, we're going to kind of go as far as Rafi takes us in terms of the middle of the order impact bat that teams have to game plan around. And so having that consistent presence night in and night out is critically important. And then what the other guys can do, whether it's Jaron, Connor, and some other guys in front of him getting on base, or guys at the bottom of the lineup who have gotten on base and given him a chance to knock them in. But I think a lot has been made of, how he's fared with runners in scoring position. And, I think that's starting to normalize here. But, the big thing is, especially with Tristan out right now, that's the guy that opposing teams are going to hone in on. And so, his consistency is going to be really important.
You saying night in and night out reminds me of a song by the great band The Eagles, One of These Nights. Would the Eagles perhaps be on your list of your three favorite bands if you were considering?
No, I'm taking suggestions. So,
okay.
Yeah,
right.
it's noted.
Is that just on the Red Sox, like the comments section on the website, or how do people get those to you?
Mail, social media, stop by Fenway Park, any of those work.
Okay, all right.
So, Craig, the team is on a similar trajectory this season as it has been the last two seasons, which is overachieving or playing well over the first 50 games of the season, and then the last 2 years at the deadline, the team did nothing to improve the team. Will you, if in the same position as you are now in about a month, invest? And if not, why should fans invest in the team if the ownership group and general manager is not?
Yeah, well, I think, investing in the team can take a few different paths. I think, like I said, I recognize the value of a competitive team and one that has the potential to make the playoffs and getting over that hump and playing playoff baseball. That's what I want. That's what the team wants. That's what our fans want. That's what ownership wants. I think these decisions can't be made in a vacuum, though, in that, we alone don't control our fate necessarily. We have to look at what's happening around the league. Obviously, the AL East is incredibly tough. And so we're kind of thinking about what is the probability that we're making the postseason. Now, all that said, I think, what is potentially different between this team and other teams is the ability to point to, an improved pitching infrastructure, the maturation of some of those younger players. But yeah, what we have to do is forecast kind of what does the second half look like? Do we believe that we can continue to, not necessarily overachieve, but play to our potential. Because I don't think you want to bank on overachieving. I think you want to bank on improvement, on maturity, and stability and consistency.
So would you say the team is overachieving right now?
No, I wouldn't. I would say that I think a lot of on the position player side, a lot of those guys are having, the first 2 months that we believe they were capable of having. And then I think on the pitching staff, what we weren't sure of is while we knew that there were some obvious tweaks that we could make to pitch usage and we could hone the shapes of particular pitches, whether that's adding some pitches to certain repertoires, whether, that's the sweeper to Whitlock, or adding some depth to his sinker or fine-tuning Bayo's slider. What we didn't know is how that was going to manifest itself in-game over time. We knew that, we believed we could make these guys better pitchers. We didn't know what that was going to do in terms of preventing runs. And now I think that we're starting to see that. This is what these guys are capable of, but guys don't always kind of play precisely to what they're capable of. Sometimes they do better. Sometimes they do slightly worse. But right now, I think this is what these guys are capable of doing and don't see a reason that they shouldn't be able to continue to do so.
Craig, thanks for taking the time. We will talk to you again next week or the week after.